I did it right, there's a new feature that sends a text message to everybody that follows Gussy and Grim if you go live.
Oh, really? Oh, that would be cool. You know, I've had a number of people recently asking me if why we no longer do stars. And I don't think we ever did stars from the Gussy and Grim page, but we should look into that again because I think uh, if people are asking, I certainly would love to get stars. It makes you feel good doing something right. Just like in school, you get stars on the chalkboard from your teacher. I love it. I love it. How are you, everyone? How are you? Every witch, everywhere. It's Gussy and Grim, my Grim in the background there. And we are live here at 4:20-ish Tea and Tarot. Hopefully, I'll start seeing some folks popping in here. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Waiting on a few other people. We'll just kind of get things started here. Uh, I really want to do just a short meditation as people gather in here. So get yourself in a comfortable position and find a good place to sit. Hmm.
3 people here.
I can't ever tell. Oh, 3 viewers, but are 2 of them us?
We don't count.
Oh, good. So that means 3 people. So if you're here and you haven't said hello yet, please say hi so that we can see who's joining us this afternoon. It is Monday, March 4th, and um, we're really excited about March. March is
Allergy month.
it is, but it's full of possibilities too. You know, it's it's one of those months that, at least in the northern climates where Graham and I live, typically in March you might still get some, you know, last minute flurries and weather conditions. Of course, nowadays, who knows what's going to happen with the weather, right? But traditionally speaking, the way it has worked is March is one of those months where you start to see spring poking through. And yesterday we were out working in the yard and we did see some daylilies and crocus
And Iris.
and iris that are starting to pop through. So that's really cool. I love it. I love it. Yes, we had kind of an early spring here, but
The magnolia tree is budding.
right. And you know what? I know it's weird. The weather changes are weird. You know, it was snowing in Washington State, and it was raining like like tremendous amounts in California, and at the same time there's these huge fires in Texas, and you know it's just been well. I expect that we'll still continue seeing those kinds of weather fluctuations as we move forward. We all knew that after 2020 things were going to change. We all said that. It wasn't just because of the lockdown that we all went through, but we all had this sense of, you know, things aren't ever going to quite go back to the way they were before. And I think that still holds true. And I don't think that it means that we need to be worried or scared of the unknown like that.
In a survey that I just saw about a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
they had asked some 3,000 people if they wanted stores to go back to 24/7. And the greatest majority of the consumers said no. They like knowing that the stores are open between now and now. And
Right,
they plan their day accordingly.
right. And I've liked, like we do, where did I put those other things? I like to just go pick my groceries up now. I don't like to walk through the grocery store anymore and see a gazillion things that I need to put in my cart. I like to do it from home, and I feel like we're budgeting better.
I'm more cognizant of what we're ordering
Yeah,
when we do it that way. But
right.
on a benefit side, I was talking to a guy at the store that loads the cars when you do the delivery. The store that we go to hired on an extra 90 people
Wow.
just for that service.
I
So
notice every time we go there, there's just a bunch of people and lined up in stall 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to like 15 or something. It's crazy, but we are all changing the way we do things, and and change is good. I mean, it's uncomfortable, yes, at times, especially when you don't know what to expect. And I know a lot of us are afraid to move forward with things if we don't quite know what the outcome is going to be. But this is a perfect time to let go of those worries and fears and know that, you know, you can't always control everything in your life. You sometimes gotta let it flow. And if you haven't taken away any other lessons from our 420 tarots through the years, I hope that one of those lessons is about allowing yourself to let things go a little bit. I don't mean like go to hell in a handbasket kind of thing. Don't let it go that way. That's not good. But I mean let things roll, let it flow. We were talking about yesterday during our Root and Read mentorship program that Grim and I do. We meet every Sunday, and the group of folks that we were talking with on Sunday, we were talking about the elements. We focused on the 4 elements the last couple of weeks, but this last week in particular. And, you know, two of those elements, water and air, are all about flow and circulation and getting things moving and keeping things flowing. So if you feel like you're struggling with something that's kind of weighing on you, like there's something you can't necessarily let go of, you'd like to, maybe it's some kind of some anger that you're holding within, or some kind of worry stream that you've got rolling in the background. I know some of us have a number of those that they just never quite shut off. They're just in the background, low key, running. The program is always running about what you're worried about, what you're, what's going to happen next. Try working with the element of fire or water. Light a candle for yourself. Use the time that you spend in spiritual meditation as a way to help yourself. Not just that 9 p.m. pause for peace, for the community, for the globe, but also for ourselves. And that includes asking for help in that area. If you feel that you're kind of stuck, talk to your higher self. Your higher self is the connection to God. That's the divine part of you, that we all have that birthright. And when you talk to yourself about things that are, going on, things that you're maybe perplexed about or don't have a solution to, and the worries just kind of compound and pile up on top, as you drift off to sleep at night, take a moment to just check in, get yourself grounded, ready for sleep, and then talk to yourself. Talk to God. Talk to your guardian spirits. Now, speaking of that, I also wanted to talk about, for the last couple of years, especially, folks, what?
The audio's all jacked up.
Oh, it is.
Testing. Is it better now? Sorry, I interrupted your flow, but people weren't hearing that. Audio is wacky.
We have shit internet today. It's been spotty as hell for the last 24 hours. So I don't exactly know what to say about that. I don't know that we can fix it on our end.
Keep talking.
Well, it says I sound like I'm underwater, so it's probably that.
It's not. It's the internet feed.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I was talking about now. So
Hey, I hear a robotic voice working now. It's better.
okay. Doesn't that just figure? I was just about to say something important, and I felt it. I was building up to it. It was like spirit, we were just letting it flow. And of course, something has to come along and throw a monkey wrench in it. That happens frequently, and it does get frustrating. And if you experience that same thing where you just finally feel like you're moving ahead a little bit, things, you're getting on top of things a little bit, and then boom, something happens to kind of knock you back down to the start bar again. Uh, you know, I know that can be frustrating. I experience it quite a lot, actually. And um, it's almost like, I swear, sometimes the internet is gaslighting me.
This is a good opportunity to hit back on what you were saying.
Yeah, but I don't
Go with the
remember.
flow.
Oh, it is go with the
Talk to
flow.
your higher self, element of fire and water.
Yeah, but there was more to it than that. I was just about to get into something I was telling folks. Just really a lot of distractions today. Um, let's do a. I'll get back to what I was talking about in a second, and I apologize for the problem with the volume. I need a tech team. That's all I can say.
Now we need to spend another $50 a month for the upgrade.
I need a tech team because we're there's always something that's coming up. Anyhow, that's not the point. The point is that I would like to do I want to just get ourselves focused because I'm having a really hard time now. I'm struggling over here. So let's do this. Let's light our pink lotus. Let's light it and call in some energies here. And I just remembered what I was supposed to tell you. That's right. Thank you, Spirit. All right. Okay. Ooh, just let some of that energy go that you've been accumulating around you for the last couple of days. I know that a lot of you do try to see, even when I put it on this thing, it's still not high enough for you guys to see this candle. Anyways, here, I'll put it over here. At least you know it's still burning. I know a lot of you are working on releasing that which no longer serves you. I have loved to see the uptick in our Pause for Peace at 9 p.m. every night. Just for those of you that might be new, 9 p.m., take some time to yourself, light a candle, put on some music, sit somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted by children or spouses or dogs or cats. Just allow yourself to be and focus your energy, focus your attention on breathing in healthy white light crystalline energy and breathing out that energy which is no longer necessary for you. This includes any stresses that you've carried throughout the day, any worries that you've carried, and something that someone said to you that just didn't sit right in your mind, something that you may have heard that caused you some concern or grief. If it's not yours, don't keep it. You don't need to hold on to it. So let that go. Now, over the past couple of years, I've had people reach out to me saying that they're really worried that their abilities, their psychic skills, their clair senses are no longer working. I've had a number of people asking me that about it. Or they'll say, you know, Gussie, I just don't think I have guardian angels anymore. I used to feel my guardian spirits around me, and now I think I'm alone. And I've heard that a lot. So if you're in that boat and you feel like you are not connected, that you're somehow drifting alone, you're no longer able to uh, handle the daily ins and outs of your life like you used to be able to just sort of You know, something would come up and you knew how to handle it. A lot of us are in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. We've had a lot of time to get our resources sorted out so we know how to respond in situations. And yet, kind of, ever since 2020 or so, some of us, it started a little earlier, we've been having these um, um, moments where we can't really depend on ourselves the way we used to be able to depend on ourselves to get through some of these situations. And folks are thinking that is,
Was it supposed to shut it down? Sorry.
Grim's gonna go in timeout. I'm putting Grim in timeout. That's his second disruption today, if not third.
I'm gonna go back to bed.
Please do. I'm having a hard time keeping, I'm not even high. I didn't even really smoke but one little hit, and there's hardly anything in there. I've just been kind of bouncing around today too. The energy has been not very grounded, and for an air sign like me, that can be a real challenge. So when I am channeling and I'm talking and I have these like outside disruptions right around me, I just have a real hard time focusing. So I apologize about that. It is something that I am working on. I've been working on it for a long time though. So I guess I just have spiritual ADD or something because I do have a hard time. But anyways, folks have been saying that they don't have a connection to their spiritual guardians anymore. And I want you to know there are some metaphysical folks out there that would say, you know what, we don't need them anymore. They've moved on. Believe it or not, I heard that from a number of other spiritual gurus, and I think um, for for my case, I think that my guardians, if you will, have changed over the last decade in particular. Where I used to work with certain energies and entities, I find myself more often than not now working with my own ancestors more than I do any other thing. And so I just want you to know that if you're finding yourself sort of floundering around, that it doesn't feel quite the same as it used to, whether it's your work life, your home life, or your spiritual life, or whatever feels a little bit under. Know that we are in the process of just relearning and reshaping how we're going to move forward with this in the future. Everything has shifted a little bit. And it only makes sense when you consider that our Earth is shifting dimensions. We're going through uh, vibrational frequency shifts all the time now between solar flares and the Schumann resonance and just the various things that are kind of afflicting our world right now and leaving us feeling conflicted and uncertain. I know this is a great time to say, well, lean on your angels, lean on your guides. If you are one of those people that is not feeling that connection to your guides anymore, do not. Oh, that's good. Audio is bad again. I don't know what it is, you guys. Nothing has changed.
It's this right there. You see that little warning?
Yeah.
Frames per second rate is way too low, meaning that our internet is way bogged down. We're transmitting it, I think it's 9 frames per second.
Well, then why am I doing this? I'm wasting my time sitting here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Your guides and spirits and those that have watched over you have not left. They've just shifted. They've shifted with everything else. They're still there. You can still call on them. They're still a part of your life. It's just shifting, and it's a matter of relearning how to connect with them again. It's remembering. And you've done this before. You've had many lifetimes where you've, you know, come in as a child, learned, grown, been a part of your family, went out on your own, did your own thing, had your own family. And if you had a spiritual life, and a lot of us have, you've probably worked with these same energies and entities before, because when we go back to source, it's not like we're all separate and you start fresh. We all go back and we'll remember one another there. We'll recognize the energy of Grim, of Gussy, of Angela, of Michelle. We'll recognize that energy. It's just that we don't look this way anymore. We don't present this way anymore. We can from time to time, but it's not the same. Just like that, and I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying, our relationship with our spiritual, uh, our team, our spirit team, those guardians that work with us, those angels that direct us, those uh, ancestors that help guide us, the elements that we work with, any of the fae or any from a god or goddess, a deity that you work with, they're all still there and present. It's just that we're shifting, and we can't expect to continue, just like when you're in school, you go through elementary school, and especially if you were in public school, you probably had some type of a reading book or spelling book or science book that you would go through the year with your teacher, and then the next year it was a similar book, but it was more information. It was extended information, and we were expected to take that new information in and move forward with it. It's very similar to now on a spiritual level. We have come to a certain level of understanding, and yes, it was nice, you got really comfy and being able to call on your guides that you had before, but now it's just time to redefine it.
It's
Maybe there are more guides for you. Maybe there's something different and better, and I would guarantee it.
for those of us that have the memory of the rabbit ear antennas on top of our TVs. We could be watching a television program with pretty good reception and we're happy with it. And then something changes out here, causing the reception to go bad, and we have to get up and change the rabbit ears, readjust the antenna. That's where we're at right now. We just need to readjust our antenna.
Just readjust it. Yep. It's time. If you haven't already started that and you're like, well, how am I supposed to do that, Gussy? That is a simple answer. Do things like this. Join us at 420 Tarot and have conversations about stuff that doesn't quite make sense but also does. Uh, Join us at 9 p.m. for Pause for Peace. That's a great thing to do for yourself. Even if you don't do the Pause for Peace with the rest of the Purple Door community, pause for yourself. Take a few minutes to just unwind and let things go, and just release what doesn't serve you. There's no reason to hold on to it if it doesn't have a purpose in your life. That's like keeping, you know, I'll never forget. I used to be this super sentimental person about everything. And some of that I think was because my parents died when I was young. And so I kept all their things around me because I felt like that was my connection to them, right? One of those things that I put in a box was a bunch of my children's clothes, like little dresses and favorite shoes and things like that. And I'll never forget, one of my elders at the time said, she was older than me. She was probably in her 60s at the time, maybe 70s. She goes, I understand why people save these things, but you realize you're only saving them for yourself. She said, unless you're saving, like, some people used to save baptism gowns for their babies. That was sort of a thing at the turn of the century and whatnot.
Wedding gowns.
Wedding gowns. But other than that, like, she goes, you're going to open that box up to give it to your son who has a child, and you're going to find that the rubber is all crunchy and the white stuff turned yellow, and it just, it doesn't wear well through time. And a lot of times we hold on to things that are no longer necessary. They're really just taking up space, and if anything, they actually might make us a little more sad when we look at them. And so, why punish yourself that way? This is a great time to refresh and renew. We've got Ostara coming up this month. We've got St. Patrick's Day, which is in its own way kind of a rite of renewal, and so there's just a lot of energy in March about bringing abundance to your life, being successful, taking steps forward, and this is it.
When we talk about abundance, we don't want to say just monetary abundance. We've got to remember mind, body, spirit.
Yep, that's extremely true.
If you can get abundance in those three things, two things happen. The monetary becomes less important, but it also kind of opens the flow for it
flows,
as well.
Right. So what areas are you shutting yourself down in? What areas do you reach that point and say, for example, oh, my spirit guides have all left. I don't think they're listening anymore. I must have done something wrong. I don't do it enough. Maybe I don't do it enough, so they stop listening. I don't have any connection. Don't criticize yourself like that. Of course you have a connection. Are you living, breathing, interacting with other people? That means you have a divine presence. That means you're still connected to the source. That means you're still connected to God. Don't shortchange yourself by, putting words in there that just really knock you down farther than lifting you up. This goes with everything. This goes with mind, body, spirit. And they're all connected all the time. I told our root and read people yesterday, there are a number of folks that have been having some stomach issues. And, I'm one of them. You guys know me. I have that from time to time. But I know that part of it, yes, I might have a food allergy and might be really stressed out. There are things that I can, look at definitively that physically will be affecting me. But I gotta remember, that's all tied to the spiritual as well. Mind, body, spirit. They are never separate till you die. And you lose the body part at least. But they're never separate while you're here. Mind, body, spirit are connected. And so a lot of us will, especially when we're younger, we get married, have children, and start to, build our careers out and whatnot. A lot of times what gets left in the dust, at the end of the day, we're just too tired to really attend to our spirituality. We're too tired to light a candle. I'll do 9 p.m. for Pause for Peace tomorrow. I'm just too tired tonight. We have all kinds of excuses why we don't do the spiritual work. And I spend a lot of my day calling people on that when they try to tell me, I can't do it because of this. And I'll say, well,
I'd be curious to know, for all the folks that do Pause for Peace, do you notice a difference in your life since making that a habit?
That's a good question.
I know it has for me, just because it's an anchor point. And even if I miss 9 p.m. on the dot, doesn't matter if I do it at 1 in the morning. I'm still taking that moment.
Right. I sometimes do it because Grim and I are night owls, and a lot of times I'll pause for peace when I have a break in my evening, and that's typically around midnight. So sometimes I pause late, and I think that's okay. That is okay. I don't think it's okay. I know it's okay. I'm still adding my energy in. I'm still, releasing that which doesn't serve me, and I'm, contributing to that overall flow and goodwill and love that the rest of you are contributing to. And that all means something.
The flow is already there. That 9 o'clock Pause for Peace is just connecting the tributaries to the main flow.
It's very, very true. Very, very true. So let's do a little meditation, and then I'll pull a card for the group, and we'll see where we're headed today.
I want to focus on something real quick.
Sure.
Michelle Quam says, my kids told me when I die they're giving away everything. The only thing that they're keeping is her art. And
I'd keep your art too.
To me, if my kids chose to throw everything away, sell off, or donate all of my worldly possessions, but they chose to keep my writings, that's what's important to me.
Exactly. I agree.
That's an extension of me. The piece of furniture isn't. The clothing I
Unless
used
you
to,
made the furniture.
unless I made the furniture. But no, I think that's wonderful, Michelle. If they're wanting to save your art, they acknowledge that your art and you are inseparable.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay, everybody. Close your eyes if you can. If you're driving, of course don't close them. That's silly. But if you're in a space that you're able to close your eyes, close your eyes. And oh my gosh, I have not moved my neck for a minute. So move your neck, move yourself. Oh, crunch, crunch. Ooh, crunch, crunch. Roll your shoulders, move around. And actually, you know what? Move your rib cage too, because you know what? Those little guys, they stay stationary a lot. They move together a lot, but sometimes it's just nice to kind of move your rib cage, move your hips in your chair. Grim, don't get too excited. Move your hips in your chair.
I like to move it too.
And, squeeze your butt cheeks together. Glutes, let them go. Squeeze your whole body together. Let it go. Do it a couple more times and release all that tension from your toes to your knees to your thighs to your, hips, belly, chest, arms. Oh.
It may sound counterintuitive. We're wanting to relax and bring peace for our bodies, but why are we tensing ourselves up? By doing that, by activating those muscles that tells our body we're ready for something.
And that ready is a release. I'm ready to release. And I do it usually 3 times in a row. Every time I do it, I tighten up. I'm like, oh, I didn't tighten that up. Now I can tighten that too. Oh, tight, 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 tight. And yeah, it looks a little silly. Don't worry about that. If somebody's paying attention to you that closely, they need to find something else to do.
Or you're providing them a valuable service.
Or maybe they'll join you, right? Tell them to tense up for a minute. Tense up their whole body 3 times in a row and let it go. Let it go. Shake it out. Move it out. I know that some of us are really physically active and some of us aren't. But our body still needs to get the message of, time to release. And believe it or not, when you release stuff from your body, remember, mind, body, spirit, they're all connected. So you are also releasing things from your energetic body.
And it actually projects your power when you do that. When you tense up your body and then immediately release, it pulses. My former sensei, though this was in regards to fighting, told me that just before you connect, you tense up. And then at the point of connection, you release. It's the same premise in our spirituality.
So that's like, you're talking like in um, Kempo or whatever, right before you would engage with somebody.
Yeah.
Your body tenses.
Get tense, and then before you actually take the motion forward is when you let your body relax, and that pulse guides your energy.
So let these things kind of sink in there a little bit. And the next time you find yourself extremely stressed out or just, something's going on that's got you a little unsettled, try these techniques on your own without Grim and I reminding you about it. Although I don't mind reminding you about it, that's why I'm doing it. But getting to the point that you do it on your own without having to be reminded of it is a good goal. Even if you have to, step into the bathroom somewhere, if you're at a restaurant or something and just do that tense up thing. I mean, I even squish up my face. I do. And then I release it. And I do this several times a day. I do it on my own. I don't even think you've noticed me doing it, but have you?
No.
I didn't think so. But I've been doing this for about a month now. And I do believe that it contributes to me feeling more calm in my mind, more settled in my body.
It's not a replacement for pause for peace.
No.
It's a
No.
augmented tool to enhance it.
Right. All right. So here we are in this sacred space Grim and I have created. Invite you to this liminal circle that we've built together through the years. I know you probably still maybe have your eyes closed. Maybe not. Let's close them again. And take some calming breaths and know that with each breath in you take, you are bringing the element of air, activating the element of fire in your body. That's the metabolism, right? Bringing it in, connecting, allowing wherever you feel pain or blockage, allowing that breath to go to that spot. So take some deep breaths, some calming breaths. If you have a pain in your knee, imagine that you are directing that breath right to that knee. If you have a problem with your lungs, not breathing as clearly and openly as you'd like to, take as full a breath as you can and allow that white light energy to just circulate through and to release that which is not serving you any good. This means also the release of dead, dying, damaged, or decaying cells. We don't need them in our healthy bodies.
Dead, dying, decaying thought processes and emotions.
Let that stuff go. Breathe out. Remember that the out breath is as important as the in breath. A lot of times when we're doing breathing exercises, people will go, oh yes, the in breath. And then they don't really do anything with the out breath. They just sort of let it. And there's help. Hold on. Pardon me. There is value in that, don't get me wrong. I'd rather have you do that than nothing. But if you can breathe in, hold it for a minute. If you are able, take another little quick deep breath, top it off. Blow out that little extra bit that's left at the bottom of your lungs. Just push a little further and do this for several times for yourself, several times in a row. I don't want to say I'll guarantee you're going to start feeling better, but I guarantee that you will start to feel more connected to yourself. Those of you that spend time feeling very disassociated or not connected, ungrounded, these are techniques that will help you. These are not going to, harm you unless while you're doing it, you're inviting in all kinds of rabble-rousing entities, which I can't imagine that you would be doing that because that sort of defeats the purpose. Also, when you are going through that process, if you have a lot of angry thoughts in your head or feeling frustrated or, just kind of going through there, doing that tense up and releasing thing 3 times, letting things go, moving things around, just getting it shuffled, kind of remove the intensity of that anger. You don't want to go into a pause for peace with your heart full of a bunch of aggression and turmoil. You really don't. Then you're fighting uphill carrying an extra heavy load.
The whole point is to release that.
Right. So take the time you need to I don't know what I'm saying. What did you point at now, Grim? I've noticed a big difference in regulating my energy, not holding things in and releasing what no longer serves me. That's good, Christy. I'm glad.
There's actually a couple of those.
Oh, good. I do it in the morning when I write my morning pages. It's helped me find a center when things are chaotic. If I miss after 9 p.m., it works even at 11 p.m., 12 a.m., and add my energy in, and I try not to feel guilt about not being on time. Absolutely not. We don't want you to feel guilty for not doing it. Some days, Grim and I both forget, or sometimes we'll be in the middle of a project, and one of us will say, oh gosh, it was pause for peace. So, yeah, please don't scold yourself. Scolding yourself over things really doesn't do us any good other than it just puts us on the defensive. It makes us feel worse about ourselves, and it makes getting over the hump of whatever it was that we were already struggling with even worse.
Guilt is one of the biggest roadblocks to feeling better about oneself. So I'm glad to hear you say that. Who said that?
I think that was Kay Sparkle.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I'm using my Dark Mansion Tarot, that new little deck that Grim just got me. Bought it for me at the Mystic Fair, actually. The card that we pulled is the Six of Swords card. Now, as you know, swords can be a tricky suit in the tarot to work with because sometimes sword indicates that, oops, I never know. Sometimes sword indicates that you are, you have a lot of kind of issues piling on top, a lot of things that are kind of coming at you that usually involve some depression or not seeing things clearly. But sword can also mean that you're focused on the outcome. Swords are, very cut and dry. Swords are not, they're steadfast, they're steel, they're pointy, they get to the point rather quickly. So swords are an interesting suit to work with in the tarot. But the Six of Swords card, I love this image because it is basically saying, like, even though you don't necessarily know where you're headed, you're still headed in a direction. And even though you might be afraid and maybe you're taking some people with you that you're not quite sure what the outcome's going to be, you're just following an instinct, crossing that river, trusting the water, making sure that you're not standing on the edge of the bank just looking at the river floating by. You're actually getting in it and involving yourself in it. That's what life is about. Life is not about keeping yourself safe on the shore, not being involved with things. Um, I sometimes will hear people talk about the news. Oh, I don't listen to the news because it just brings me down. Well, I get that. But you also can't be standing on the shore while things are happening around you. You need to be aware and awake about things right now. It's not time to put your head in the sand about anything. It's time to be aware. And if nothing else goes through today, if my gobbly demonic voice is not clear, I hope that somehow you get that message that uh, that time to. Isn't that interesting? Moving forward.
And it also did something for me as well because we're talking about the element of water so much the last few days. It's kind of ironic you pulled a card centered over water.
That's true.
And then the swords that are within the water themselves, that also harkens back to Arthurian legends and
That's
lore,
true.
where the knights of the realm, upon their death, their swords would be given to the lake.
They'd
Throw it
in
into
the
the
lake.
moors, throw it into the river, throw it. The sword was given back to the realm. What that indicates is each of those mighty warriors of the past have committed themselves to defending the realm even in their death. They're still here. How they choose to defend us now is not with swords and arrows. They defend us now with their knowledge, their experiences, the things that they had learned in their lives are in the water.
That's where you're stopping?
I wasn't really stopping.
I
I was
really
having
like that. Where like
no,
where you're
I'm not stopping there. I was just thinking about the imagery of that card. Our ancestors aren't here just to protect us. They're here to guide us. And when they do choose to protect us, they don't do it with force and might. They do it with their spirit, gentle guidance. They add their essence to the flow of your spiritual path and wrapping themselves around you, surrounding you, pushing you along.
and I know one of the scariest things can be leaving behind on the shore what you're used to. That's the familiar. That's the comfortable. And even though sometimes that shoreline, like in this picture, those trees are bare, it's obviously, it's not an abundant season at this point in this card, and they're wrapped up in coats. Um, Pushing out away from what you know and are comfortable with, and pushing into the flow, knowing that there's something better on the other side,
makes all the difference. So,
And Susan says swords get forged with fire and cooled off in water, and that is exactly
very true.
In fact, the sword, taken a little bit further, goes fire, air, earth, and water. You have to pull the ore from the earth. You have to use fire to extract the ore.
Yeah.
We have to pump air into that fire to get it hot enough to extract the mineral that we're seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And then we forge it, we form it, we shape it into what we want, and we quench it in water.
Plunge it into the water.
Tempering it, strengthening it. The sword is not a weapon unless it's used as a weapon. It is more than anything else a representation of magic. It is a wand. And you can choose to take that wand and inflict pain, or you can take that wand and open up paths.
Very true. All right, let's do some more comments. And then, let's see. I want to say, Janie Jen says, I miss you both so much. We miss you too, Janie. We've been talking about Port Townsend so often lately.
I'm wearing a Port Townsend.
Yeah, you are. You've really been missing it. Kay says, there is a balance and structure and trying to grow and keep yourself accountable and then saying shit happens and letting go. Yep. You know, I know some people hate that phrase, it is what it is, but it just is such a beautiful thing. It got a little overused, but we still have a sign in our kitchen that says, it is what it is until it's something else. And that's kind of how it is. Tammy Gibson says that she is truly blessed with for us and family. I appreciate that, Tammy. We love you too. Constance said procrastinating. She must have been referring to what we were talking about there. How come I can't scroll anymore? Oh, and Alicia says, I'm in the boat, just curled up in the bottom recovering. Yeah, at least you're in the boat. That is very, very true. I'm glad you're in the boat.
The more of us in the boat, the easier it is to row.
Right. But the thing is that we all have to take turns rowing. You know, you can't be expected to be in the boat and not do the work. You gotta, I mean, I wish life was like that, like Cleopatra. but it is not. And so here we are. Anyways, I really hope that you all have a tremendous day. Rest of your night, I should say. Tonight at 7 p.m., which is just a little time from now, Grim and I are going to be going live again because it's our first Monday of the month live stream, and we're going to be talking about our upcoming e-zine and a new theme for the month of March. So we're hoping that you can all join us for that. We'd love to have you there. And as always, you know, we love it when you guys interact with us in the comments because you're as much a part of this live stream as we are. And that's very, very true. Don't forget, if you do have a chance tonight at 9 p.m., pause for peace for yourself, for the world. Use it as a time to reconnect and let go and just refresh, reset, 9 p.m. You can do it whenever. 9 p.m. is not a requirement. Just do it. Do it for you at some point.
And if you need guidance, use the prompt word for each night.
Right. On our Pause for Peace post, Susan's been putting out, we have a focus word for every night. Sometimes it's strength, sometimes it's release, sometimes it's, this was a weird one, but witness, because you know what? We do need to witness ourselves. We need to witness how we're living and what we're doing. Some people go, oh, that's such a religious word. We don't mean it like, you know, witnessing like in the Christian tradition sense of the word.
But turn it inward.
Right. It's time to look within. That's what witnessing means to us. So join us for those Pause for Peace moments if you can. It really is a wonderful thing. I'm surprised it hasn't taken off a little more yet, but that's okay. I love our small group, our community, that just the way it is. So there's that. Tonight at 7, first Monday of the month. And I think that's it. Is that it?
Until 7.
We do have a new moon coming up soon. We'll talk about that later. All right, I guess till 7. We'll see you at 7. Until then.